Welcome back to Apex Sci-Fi. Most modern pilots are lazy. They trust their computers to do the heavy lifting. They let the fly-by-wire systems keep the ship stable. They rely on sensors to tell them where the walls are. In the 25th century, flying a ship is often just sitting in a chair and watching a screen. But when you are flying into the Aegis shipyard, the computer is your enemy. The Aegis is where the hegemony builds its secret weapons. It is surrounded by a network of ghost sensors. These are designed to pick up even the smallest electronic hum. A running reactor, a cooling fan, or a digital navigation screen is a beacon that screams for a swarm of guard droids to destroy you. Voss was hired to plant a tracker on a prototype stealth frigate hidden deep inside the yard. To do it, he has to do something no other pilot would dream of. He has to turn his ship into a dead piece of metal. Voss approaches the outer perimeter of the shipyard. He sits in the dark cockpit of the Revenant Star. He reaches for a set of mechanical levers he installed himself. They are connected directly to the thruster valves by steel cables. No wires. No chips. Voss takes a deep breath and hits the master kill switch. The Revenant Star dies. The orange glow on his visor flickers and vanishes. The hum of the life support fades away. The only sound left is the steady thumping of his own heart. He is now flying by eye. The Aegis shipyard is a forest of steel. Massive girders, half-finished hulls, and floating cargo containers fill the space for miles. Voss uses a manual pressurized tank of cold gas to give the ship a tiny shove. The Revenant Star begins to glide forward into the maze. The silence is heavy. Voss has to look out the window to see where he is going. He uses a physical periscope to check his corners. Every movement has to be perfect. If he drifts too far to the left, he hits a girder. If he goes too fast, he cannot stop without turning on his engines and alerting the guards. A patrol of droids passes just meters above his canopy. They are sleek, black machines with red glowing eyes, looking for any sign of a signal. Voss sits perfectly still. He does not even move his hands. He waits for the cold vacuum to pull him past. He finds the prototype frigate. It is a jagged, black ship sitting in a cradle of white light. This is the most dangerous part. The cradle is surrounded by a laser grid. If anything breaks the light, the alarms will sound. Voss uses his manual levers to fire the tiny cold gas jets. He rotates the Revenant Star with the precision of a watchmaker. He is moving at a crawl. He slides the ship between the gaps in the laser grid, his wings missing the beams by less than an inch. He reaches out with a manual mechanical arm, controlled by a hand crank in the cockpit. He slowly places the magnetic tracker on the hull of the prototype. The metal clinks softly. To Voss, it sounds like a gunshot in the silence. He waits. No alarms. No red lights. Now comes the hard part. He has to get out. Voss begins to backtrack through the maze of scaffolding. But the wind has changed. A nearby docking bay has opened, and the venting atmosphere creates a small current in the shipyard. It pushes the Revenant Star toward a massive fuel tank. He cannot use the gas jets. He is out of pressure. He is drifting toward a collision that will wake up every guard in the sector. Voss does not panic. He reaches into the back of his seat and pulls out a manual emergency flare gun. He doesn't fire it outside. He opens a small service hatch in the cockpit and fires it into the internal venting pipe of his own ship. The small explosion of the flare creates a tiny burst of kinetic energy. It is just enough to nudge the ship a few degrees to the right. The Revenant Star scrapes against a girder, the sound of metal on metal echoing through the hull, but he clears the fuel tank. He reaches the edge of the shipyard. He is in the clear. Voss flips the master switch. The reactor hums back to life. The orange light returns to his visor. The data begins to scroll. The hegemony sensors immediately pick him up. The alarms start to scream across the radio. But it is too late. Voss slams the throttle. The Revenant Star roars, its engines leaving a trail of blue fire as he blasts away from the station. A swarm of interceptors launches behind him, but Voss is already in the drift. He skips through space and disappears into the dark. He checks the tracker signal on his screen. It is a steady green pulse. The job is done. In the pilot lounges, they say that Voss can fly a brick through a needle eye if he had to. They say he doesn't need a computer because he has the stars in his blood. Voss doesn't listen to the talk. He just enjoys the sound of his engines. Silence is a useful tool, but for a pilot like Voss, the roar of the machine is the only song that matters. This has been Apex Sci-Fi. If you can't see it, you can't hit it. If you enjoyed this silent infiltration, hit that like button. Comment below, what is one thing you can do better than a machine? Subscribe for the next delivery, the High G Duel. The Revenant Star is back in the black. The noise is back.